Good morning. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. Let's continue our exploration of the text and also let's practice lesson 16 together. I hope you're good. I would love to hear how the course is going for you. Please share any of your ahas, your observations, your experiences in the comments, because no matter how small you may think your share is, we all learn from each other's stories and experiences. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to get started with the text. I couldn't find my headset this morning, so hopefully the speakers on my computer pick up the audio just fine. All right, so we go ahead and click on Read A Course in Miracles, and we are in the text. We're starting with the reading. We're scrolling down. We're in chapter 18. Section 2, the basis of the dream. Paragraph 1. Does not a world that seems quite real arise in dreams? Yet think what this world is. It's clearly not the world you saw before you slept. Rather, it is a distortion of the world, planned solely around what you would have preferred. Here, you're free to make over whatever seemed to attack you and change it into a tribute to your ego, which was outraged by the attack. This would not be your wish unless you saw yourself as one with the ego, which always looks upon itself and therefore on you as under attack and highly vulnerable to it. Okay, so all this is pointing to is how we experience our reality. We're characters in this very convincing reality, and yet it's still, in effect, a dream, in as much as at some point in time we fell asleep and woke into this illusion, and then on the other end we'll wake up out of it. And once we wake up out of it, there'll be no way that we'll be convinced that any of this was real. However, from the point of view of the character living the dream, it's very real. And it's real to the aspect of our nature, which has been, by the Course, labeled an ego. And let me add that to me, the ego is the construct of the part of consciousness that its bottom belief is the belief in separation, that I'm not whole and complete, I'm not worthy. And so, therefore, its whole existence is wrapped around the existence of the body. And so, its MO, its purpose, is to ensure the survivability of the body as itself. Let's continue. Let's see what happens next. I'm going to go back and share for paragraph 2. Dreams are chaotic because they're governed by your conflicting wishes, and therefore they have no concern with what is true. They are the best example you could have of how perception can be utilized to substitute illusions for truth. You do not take them seriously on awaking because the fact that reality is so outrageously violated in them becomes apparent. Yet they're a way of looking at the world and changing it to suit the ego better. They provide striking examples, both of the ego's inability to tolerate reality and of your willingness to change reality on its behalf. And so this is just continuing with what I was saying. So this morning, I woke up out of a dream where my mom was like taking a bite out of some kind of drug, and I was trying to stop her. Well, I was conflicted actually in the dream whether I should teach her how to do it properly. Not that I really knew how to do it properly, but it was based on what I had seen before, and stopping her from doing it. So, in the dream, from the dreamer's point of view, from my dream self's point of view, It was very convincing. I was enrolled in my part. But now, upon waking, and as I'm sharing it with you in this secondary dream phase of consciousness, you can't convince me, no matter what, that that actually happened, that that was real. But also, what this paragraph is reminding us of is that the ego, because it believes it's separate and therefore alone, it feels like it's not enough. It feels like it's bad. So, as a result of that, it feels constantly attacked. I think at this stage, that can just be our baseline, which is that the ego feels that it can be, that it has been, that it will be, or that it is being attacked. Okay, let me go back to share screen. Paragraph 3. You do not find the differences between what you see in sleep and on awaking disturbing. You recognize that what you see on waking is blotted out in dreams. Yet on awakening, you do not expect it to be gone. Hmm. In dreams, you arrange everything. People become what you would have them be, and what they do, you order. Limits on substitution are laid upon you. For a time, it seems as if the world were given you to make it what you wish. You do not realize you're attacking it, trying to triumph over it and make it serve you. All right, let's continue. Paragraph 4. Dreams are perceptual temper tantrums in which you literally scream, I want it thus. And thus it seems to be. And yet the dream cannot escape its origin. Anger and fear pervade it, and in an instant the illusion of satisfaction is invaded by the illusion of terror. For the dream of your ability to control reality by substituting a world that you prefer is terrifying. Your attempts to blot out reality are very fearful, but this you're not willing to accept, and so you substitute the fantasy that reality is fearful and not what you would do to it, and thus is guilt made real. Let's keep going. Paragraph 5. Dreams show you that you have the power to make a world as you would have it be, and that because you want it, you see it. And while you see it, you do not doubt that it is real. Yet here is a world clearly within your mind that seems to be outside. You do not respond to it as though you made it, nor do you realize that the emotions the dream produces must have come from you. Wow, it's so good. It is the figures in the dream and what they do that seem to make the dream. You do not realize that you're making them act out for you, and if you did, the guilt would not be theirs, and the illusion of satisfaction would be gone. In dreams, these features are not obscure. You seem to waken, and the dream is gone. Yet what you fail to recognize is that what caused the dream has not gone with it. Your wish to make another world that is not real remains with you, and what you seem to awaken to is but another form of the same world you see in dreams. All your time is spent in dreaming. Your sleeping and your waking dreams have different forms, that's all. Their content is the same. They are your protest against reality and your fixed and insane idea that you can change it. In your waking dreams, the special relationship has a special place. It is the means by which you try to make your sleeping dreams come true. From this, you do not waken. The special relationship is your determination to keep your hold on unreality and to prevent yourself from waking. And while you see more value in sleeping than in waking, you will not let go of it. Wow. It's reiterating what I was saying, making the comparison between the dream self, the point of view from a night dream, and the self and the point of view of the waking dream. They're the same, but just simply the form is different. I'm just going to go back into the text just to remind myself what I wanted to highlight here. Yeah, I think one of the key sentences in this paragraph is, yet here is a world clearly within your mind that seems to be outside. And we can find that truth in the night dreams. And then let's do our best at this stage to extrapolate that and say, okay, what if this is the same phenomena in this waking life? We know it is actually, because this body is temporary. The ego's function is temporary. Part of its function is to maintain the illusion of being a separate I in this separate body, and that everything out there is separate from what I am. What this is pointing to again is what we talked about in the last video, which is taking 100% responsibility, because it reminds us that it is the figures in the dream and what they do. You do not realize that you are making them act out for you. So we do realize this when we do the quantum healing hypnosis work. I keep going back to that because in my experience, aside from meditation, aside from intensive meditation practice, really applied meditation practice, it seems to be the only way where we personally can access and expand our consciousness to include the part that does remember, that does remember that, oh, we asked them to play their part for us so that we can realize, where we can feel that separation through the stressful emotions and reach for something else, reach for our true nature. That's what it's for. And what this paragraph is pointing to too is how the ego is just simply a defense against that part of your consciousness. That's what it is. It's like a sentry. And I want to add that the ego is not necessarily bad. However, it is mistaken. And this is entirely what the course is about. Okay, so let's continue with paragraph 6. I'm going to go back to share the screen. Okay, good. We're at the Holy Spirit. Let's see if we can get some relief. The Holy Spirit, ever practical in his wisdom, accepts your dreams and uses them as means for awaking. You would have used them to remain asleep. I said before that the first change before dreams disappear is that your dreams of fear are changed to happy dreams. That is what the Holy Spirit does in the special relationship. He doesn't destroy it nor snatch it away from you, but he does use it differently as a help to make his purpose real to you. The special relationship will remain, not as a source of pain and guilt, but as a source of joy and freedom. It will not be for you alone, for therein lay its misery. As its unholiness kept it a thing apart, its holiness will become an offering to everyone. Okay, so essentially what this is talking about, just briefly, is that our relationships with the people that we truly love, that the course can feel like is threatening, is through the work, through the breaking through illusions to truth and to peace, change their function in as much as they become a source of unconditional love, a source of inspiration, a means through which the true nature of God can manifest here in this reality, as opposed to being a source of fear, guilt, anger, and worry. We experience fear, guilt, anger, and worry through our personal insecurities, actually, because again, those emotions, which the preceding paragraph reminded us, are ours. The stressful emotions, all emotions actually, but the stressful emotions are an alarm clock, especially to wake us up. If the emotions are pleasant, if the emotions feel good, well, then to that we can say, okay, well, we may as well, we're still in the dream, we can acknowledge that, but we can say, well, at least we're not in a nightmare with the feel good emotions. Okay, let's keep this nice dream then. Okay, let's go back to our text. Oh, lost my cursor. Here we go. Okay, so paragraph 7. Your special relationship will be a means for undoing guilt in everyone blessed through your holy relationship. It will be a happy dream. See, me and the course are one. I don't read ahead, by the way. I have read the text before, but I don't read ahead for these. I just like to see what's going to happen next. Okay, so we'll start again. Paragraph 7. Your special relationship will be a means for undoing guilt in everyone blessed through your holy relationship. It will be a happy dream and one in which you will share with all who come within your sight. Through it, the blessing the Holy Spirit has laid upon it will be extended. Think not that he has forgotten anyone in the purpose he has given you, and think not that he has forgotten you to whom he gave the gift. He uses everyone who calls on him as means for the salvation of everyone, and he will waken everyone through you who offered your relationship to him. If you but recognized his gratitude, or mine through his, for we are joined as in one purpose, being of one mind with him. I think the main takeaway from this paragraph is that our job is to set our intention to arrange our personal will, to harness our personal will, to align, again, through our intention, through prayer, with his will, so that we can be an instrument of his divine grace, that the purpose of our lives is to live through our highest expression, through all the gifts and the graces and our uniqueness, the unique aspects of our personality, the archetypes that move through us, that all of that is arranged in service of his divine mission. All right, I'm going back to share the screen. We are in paragraph 8. Let not the dream take hold to close your eyes. It's not strange that dreams can make a world that's unreal. It's the wish to make it that is incredible. Your relationship with your brother has now become one in which the wish has been removed because its purpose has been changed from one of dreams to one of truth. You're not sure of this because you think it may be this that is the dream. You're so used to choosing among dreams, you do not see that you have made at last the choice between the truth and all illusions. Yeah. The Course teaches us that there's this sweeping realization that undoes all illusions, which is what the lessons are preparing your mind for. The ultimate truth, and I'll keep repeating it because it's obvious, is this belief in separation. So, what would that look like? What would that feel like if a fairy godmother came along while I was sleeping, bopped me on the head, and I woke up and I realized, oh, this is all me, actually. And I made it. And all these people are playing their perfect parts as I asked them to. So let's play with that for today. The lessons are doing their work to undo the part of the mind that really is anchored into this belief that I am alone, I'm not enough, I'm separate, it's possible to be attacked, it's possible to be unsafe. None of these are true in ultimate reality. They have the appearance of truth, but the appearance of truth is what this paragraph or what this section is showing us, that it's actually just a secondary dream experience. And again, we know this because the body is temporary. Nobody gets out of this reality alive. This is just simply an experience. We get to experience this feeling of separation, but what we're being shown is that we made it, that this is our doing. It's actually not God's will, but that it's actually an effect of the feeling or the belief of separation from God, and not actually an effect of the wholeness of God. That's what this is pointing to. All right, let's continue. Paragraph 9, last one. Yet heaven is sure. This is no dream. Its coming means that you have chosen truth, and it has come because you have been willing to let your special relationship meet its conditions. In your relationship, the Holy Spirit has gently laid the real world, the world of happy dreams from which awaking is so easy and so natural. For as your sleeping and your waking dreams represent the same wishes in your mind, so do the real world and the truth of heaven join in the will of God. The dream of waking is easily transferred to its reality, for this dream reflects your will joined with the will of God, and what this will would have accomplished has never not been done. Okay, so all I'd say here is that we're creating the possibility for a mind to awaken while still experiencing this realm of separation. Maybe this is a wonderful experiment that the Holy Spirit wanted to bring in. Remember, this work was channeled in the 60s, which was 20 years after World War II. And so given the effects of separation where the ego just wants to control and makes up illusions, war is an effect of that. And so it makes sense to me that this wisdom would want to be breathed into the consciousness of humanity in the best way possible to awaken humanity to the original false belief, which is that we are not with God. God is with us. He is a thought away, and the bridge is through prayer and through our intent. All right, so let's now practice our lesson for today. Okay, so I go back to the home screen. We click on Workbook for Students, and I'm typing in 16. Okay, today's lesson is I have no neutral thoughts. I'll let the narrator read it for us.
Lesson 16. I have no neutral thoughts. The idea for today is a beginning step in dispelling the belief that your thoughts have no effect. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. There is no exception to this fact. Thoughts are not big or little, powerful or weak. They are merely true or false. Those that are true create their own likeness. Those that are false make theirs.
Right.
There is no more self-contradictory concept than that of idle thoughts. What gives rise to the perception of a whole world can hardly be called idle. Every thought you have contributes to truth or to illusion. Either it extends the truth or it multiplies illusions. You can indeed multiply nothing, but you will not extend it by doing so. Besides your recognizing that thoughts are never idle, salvation requires that you also recognize that every thought you have brings either peace or war, either love or fear. A neutral result is impossible because a neutral thought is impossible. There is such a temptation to dismiss fear thoughts as unimportant, trivial, and not worth bothering about, that it is essential you recognize them all as equally destructive, but equally unreal. We will practice this idea in many forms before you really understand it. In applying the idea for today, search your mind for a minute or so with eyes closed and actively seek not to overlook any little thought that may tend to elude the search. This is quite difficult until you get used to it. You will find that it is still hard for you not to make artificial distinctions. Every thought that occurs to you, regardless of the qualities that you assign to it, is a suitable subject for applying today's idea. In the practice periods, first repeat the idea to yourself, and then, as each one crosses your mind, hold it in awareness while you tell yourself, this thought about blank is not a neutral thought. That thought about blank is not a neutral thought. As usual, use today's idea whenever you are aware of a particular thought that arouses uneasiness. The following form is suggested for this purpose. This thought about blank is not a neutral thought. because I have no neutral thoughts. 4 or 5 practice periods are recommended if you find them relatively effortless. If strain is experienced, 3 will be enough. The length of the exercise period should also be reduced if there is discomfort.
Okay, amazing. So it's echoing what was revealed to us in the section of the text that we looked at today, which is that our illusory thoughts are what have created this world. It's very difficult for us to wrap our heads around this because we feel like we were born into this world. It's nearly impossible for the ego to realize that it created it in the first place. But this world is an effect. It's an effect um, of eons and eons of false thoughts. Okay, so we're going to do a minute of practice. And as usual, before we get started, just take a minute to feel what it feels like to be in your body. Take a minute to feel the borders and the boundaries where the body ends and the air in the room begins, where the body ends. The furniture, in my case, the chair begins, the floor begins. And just expand your awareness to include the room that you're in. Let's today give ourselves a hug. Let's place our hands just under our armpits here and just relax into this. And let's just take 3 conscious, naturally healing breaths before we get started, just to ground ourselves, center ourselves. Okay, so we're going to begin our lesson. I'll go back to sharing the screen so you can see the language. We'll practice with our eyes closed for 1 minute. The idea for the lesson today is I have no neutral thoughts. Your job in the practice period for 1 minute is to scan your mind for thoughts, for characters, people, special relationships, and applying the idea where this thought about, give the specific thought, is not a neutral thought. So the 2 sentences are just this thought, that thought. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. And so close your eyes, let your eyelids rest over your eyes, and just start scanning your mind. All right, and now remember that throughout the day, as you meet different circumstances, you'll apply the idea in the moment. This thought about, as you have it, is not a neutral thought because I have no neutral thoughts. The invitation for the practice periods is 4 to 5 times today. However, if you feel some strain or stress around it, just default to the 3 practice periods that you perhaps are used to by now. Okay, let me go back now to the text because we're going to look at now principle number 35. Short one. Miracles are expressions of love, but they may not always have observable effects. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. But what that does do is kick us back to faith, doesn't it? Faith and trust. All right, wonderful. So just reminding you to check the Alila Center website, www.alilacenter.org, for online classes. I have in-person offerings wherever I am. However, the regular online classes are the mindfulness-based meditation class, which is on the third Tuesday of the month Eastern Standard Time, which in Australia translates to the next Wednesday morning. And then I also have the meditation and natural healing self-help class, which is on the fourth Monday of the month Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Saving Time, actually, just Eastern, and which translates to then the following Tuesday morning in Australia. All right, wonderful. Again, I would love to hear what you are noticing as a result of applying the lessons, listening to the text. Any resistance as well, anything that's unpleasant, please feel free to share. All right, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.